But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we're going to see something unbelievable. A woman who wants a divorce because her husband is too good. Yes, you heard that right. She's leaving him not for cheating, not for abuse, but because he's a great husband. Get ready, because this is a clear example of how nowadays, even being a good man can be punished. Smash that like button. We're aiming for 1,000 likes on this video. Drop a comment with your experience and wisdom. We always pin the best one for the community. Subscribe, and let's get started.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody, okay? I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog, where all of those things, okay? Had a full breakdown. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me be very clear about that. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. And that is probably the reason why I have not left. Okay. Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always happen are not met, right? Which I don't know if anybody's are. The reason that pushed me to even bring up divorce and talk about it was the fact that I feel like I can't be myself with my husband. And it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old. I am a mom of 3 and I still don't know who I am. So for me to be like, oh, I can't be myself or you don't love me for who I am isn't really fair because I don't know who I am. I'm figuring that out every day. But the reason why I wanted to share this on here in the first place is we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We're going to Mexico, to Cabo for our 10-year anniversary trip. And we're rewriting our vows. We never wrote vows in the first place. We didn't have vows when we got married. And I'm struggling to write my vows, like to write a vow. And I think that's because I still feel very unsure in our relationship.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Brothers, this is a woman who married the beta provider, the kind of man who checks all the boxes, but who she's not truly attracted to. She chose him for what he could offer her, because her future was secure. When you hear phrases like, I don't feel like myself in this relationship, or I don't feel love, what she's really saying is that the man doesn't excite her in bed. And that's the hardest part. You marry the woman you love, believing she feels the same, but she only signed that paper to secure her future. Then one day, without warning, she destroys everything. The reason? She's bored. That's simple. There was no cheating, no abuse, no lack of love from your side. Just the emotional emptiness of a woman who doesn't know what she wants and decides to break something that was working because it doesn't give her butterflies. This happens to a lot of marriages these days. Women who have everything, but fill their heads with ideas that there's no more spark, that their husband doesn't satisfy them anymore. There's a reason people say, a man sacrifices his health for his family, a woman sacrifices her family for her happiness. Keep that in mind before signing that contract. But anyway, let's keep going.
The one thing that we finally talked about this past week together, because it's just been something that since we kind of talked about it and I brought it up and we committed to change and we committed to working on our relationship, I started my own business. He quit his job. Roles have changed. Life has been crazy. And we just haven't come back to talking about this subject. And I brought it up again because I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, like writing these vows is hard. I don't feel like we're any closer. I don't feel like anything has really changed since I brought this up 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever. And I want to work on our relationship. Like at the end of the day, of course, I could get a divorce and try to go find the love that I'm craving with somebody else. But that's going to come with its own hardships, its own complications, and ones that I'm not willing to take on, right? I love Ryan. He is the best father, okay? I just need to learn how to explain what I need from him in our relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need to be doing the same for him so that we can both, like, in 10 years from now, in the next 10 years, look back and say, like, we put in the work and we finally have the marriage and the relationship that we have always wanted, and that is what I want. I guess the reason why I'm coming on here, and if you've made it this long, that's really nice. What have you done in your relationship to get to that point? If you have been in a place where we are and have worked through it and have found things that have brought you closer or that have given you that relationship, like I'm just, I guess, asking for advice. Like, what have you done in order to get there and what has worked for you? We're honestly willing to try anything. We have done therapy and counseling before. And it was fine, honestly. It wasn't like my favorite thing, but I'm willing to try that again. And I don't know, books, podcasts, like what have you guys done that has worked for you to get your marriage to where you want it to be? I just don't like thinking, okay, we've been married for 10 years and we've kind of like been at this same point the whole time. I just don't want to look back 10 years from now and not have tried my best to have this like relationship that we both want and that we deserve and that our kids deserve to see in us. So I'm kind of being vulnerable and posting this on here, but I would just like to know, like, what has worked for you and what advice I guess you would have for me. Thanks.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Now I get what's going on here. Brothers, hypergamy doesn't forgive. I've always said it. When a woman stops admiring her man, she also stops loving him. This man is unemployed. She started a business, and now she's the one supporting the household. The roles have completely flipped. She's no longer the wife supported by her provider husband. Now she's the one supporting him. And of course, she's tired. Tired of solving everything, of carrying the financial burden, and with that, she disconnects from the man. Then comes the inevitable. The intimacy dies. She no longer wants to sleep with him, not because he changed, but because she lost that quiet respect that comes from admiration. My father said it plainly. When a man is sitting at home doing nothing, he starts to stink to a woman. Everything bothers her, everything feels heavy, and she starts looking for a way out. But when he supported her for over a decade, there were no complaints. And then they talk about for better or worse, right? That's why she doesn't want to write her vows, because deep down, she wants out of that relationship. Brothers, a man's life is tough.
I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody. I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me be very clear about that. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet.
This is exactly why so many men don't want to get married. Because they could be the most loyal, hardworking, honest, good man, but then they end up divorced. That is scary because if he's literally doing nothing wrong, then what can he fix? But here this man is. He's already doing everything. What's even worse is that this has been going on in her head for 10 years. He probably had no clue. And then she'll give him 6 months to somehow fix it after it's been going on for more than 10 years. It's so unfair. And this is what men mean when they say that it came out of nowhere, that they were blindsided. She blindsided him. She can't say that, well, she told him 6 months ago that it was a problem and it needed to be fixed. And then they end up in divorce. And then she claimed that she didn't blindside him. You did blindside him.
The blow isn't just the surprise, brothers. It's that by the time she tells you, you're already out of the game. Because here's the truth. Women grieve the relationship while they're still in it, while you're still thinking everything is fine. You're just finding out, and she's had everything planned for a while. She expects you to fix in 3 months what she's been carrying inside for the last 5 years. This woman says they went to therapy, that they tried, but the guy lost his job, the economy got rough, and she started carrying the whole load with her business. And what happened? The man she once admired no longer inspires her. Because even if they don't say it out loud, a woman's respect dies when a man stops providing. He can be the most faithful, the most honest, the most devoted, but if you stop leading financially, your days are numbered. It's things like this that make so many men today not want to get married. You can be the best husband for 10 years, loyal, hardworking, a provider, but the moment you slip in your role as a man, she's already looking for the door.
Women.
I spoke up and made that video, but not because I wanted to bash my husband or air my dirty laundry, but to say like, hey, something's missing. I want to fix it. I want to keep my family together. I want to have a good, happy marriage that we're both satisfied with. And like, what have you found that's worked for you that could help me do that? And like, women responded with love. Most of the men responded with anger. And so I just feel like that's pretty telling. So if the men want to comment and say rude things, you're just further validating what the other women that are coming on the post are saying, which is, hey, I feel similar, or I feel the same about, my relationship, but I don't feel like I can talk about it because of the way you're acting. And again, this is nothing like to say that's how my husband treats me or acts, but to say like, you can't get in my comments and say, this is why marriages aren't working these days, is because women are honest and open about their feelings. But maybe take a look at the comments and say, oh, maybe it's because when women open up and want to be vulnerable and share, like express their feelings or whatever, like they get attacked and say, you should just be happy with what you have, or he should be the one that leaves you, or like you're asking for a fairy tale, those things don't exist, or whatever. Like that's not fair. That's not fair. And women should feel like they can open up and express how they feel without being met with that judgment, with being met with compassion and trying to understand their feelings, which is what my husband is doing, which is like, so I'm not saying this about my husband. I'm saying this about the thousands and thousands of disgusting men in my comments that are just further validating women in general who feel judged or want to leave their marriages because that's the way their husbands are acting. So maybe if your first instinct is to attack a woman for sharing her pain or her feelings, maybe ask yourself, like, what does that say about you? Not about her.
Oh, hell no!
You know why there's so much anger? Because a lot of men today are shocked to realize that being a good man is no longer enough. It's not enough to be the perfect father, the faithful husband, the unconditional provider. You can do everything right and still not be enough. And then you face the brutal truth. A woman doesn't leave when you're bad. She leaves when she's bored. This woman doesn't need love. She needs dopamine. That's why so many end up hooked on narcissists. The emotional roller coaster makes them feel alive. The guy who treats them like queens one day and ignores them the next, that's the one who pulls them in. You, who are always there, who do everything right, you just don't spark that flame. That's why I keep saying it. Men, even when you're married, never stop building yourself. Be a little unreachable, a little selfish. Hit the gym, Hang out with your boys, keep your own space. A woman loves a man who shines, with or without her. Because if she feels she's got you completely locked in, she stops desiring you. Remember this. She wants the man every woman wants, but who chooses to be only with her. Stay that way, or she'll lose respect for you.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this, but earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce.
So this woman's currently going viral for this video she made where she said that she asked her husband for a divorce, but hasn't gone through with it yet because, in her words, he is perfect. It's just that there's something missing. She goes on to ask TikTok if anyone else has ever felt that way in their marriages, and if so, how they went on to fix it. But people were having a hard time giving advice because it didn't make sense. So he's perfect, but also not good enough? Like, here were some comments that I found particularly noteworthy. Your story is my story. Then 20 years later, turns out I was just bored and immature. Worst mistake of my life, divorcing a good man. When I filed for divorce, the last word I would use to describe him would be perfect. Girl, if you have a good man, stay with him. A lot of people started speculating that maybe she had already been unfaithful, that she was the problem, and people even found her husband to warn him what she was posting about him, to which she made a video saying that he knows and doesn't care. And ladies, I just need to womansplain something about men real quick. If a man says that he doesn't care, he either genuinely doesn't care, or he knows that the inevitable fallout from expressing any opposing belief is not going to be worth the battle, so he just pretends he doesn't care. In this case, though, I'm gonna guess it's the latter, because you've literally described him as a perfect husband, and yet, to you, he's still not good enough. It's like he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Or maybe I'm wrong and he genuinely does not mind his marital issues being made into a public spectacle for complete strangers to judge and interfere with. Maybe. What do you guys think? Do you think he genuinely doesn't care? Do you think she's brave and strong for posting this? Do you think this is going to help her already rocky marriage? I hope she figures it out though, because leaving a perfect man and splitting up her family and all of her time and holidays and childhood with her children just because she wanted something more would be tragic, and yet happens all the time. But if that does happen, I hope that he uses this as evidence in court to secure 50-50 custody. Because what we're not going to do is take this man's kids away from him just so that you can try to recreate your single party girl lifestyle in your 30s. Nope, not today. But honestly, if you already have 3 kids with a guy and you still can't figure out why you don't like him, it might be you. You might be the problem.
Hell to the no, no. Hell no.
There are 3 reasons why a woman gets bored in a relationship, and this man is already checking the 3rd one. First, when the man gives her too much comfort. If you're the type who always says yes, treats her like a queen, never challenges her, and brings no sense of excitement, she'll see you as a simp, and that bores her. Second, when she's not attracted to you in bed, or there are so many problems at home that she loses all desire for intimacy. Sometimes she doesn't even want you physically, but often that rejection stems from the 3rd reason. Third, when the man loses his job. Financial problems begin, and if there's one thing that kills a woman's desire, it's seeing her man unemployed. Most men who lose their jobs end up abandoned by their partners. Women don't like providing or carrying the financial weight of the household. That's why 55% of marriages end over money issues. And this man, let's not forget, lost his job. From that moment, we already know what's coming. Emotional disconnection, physical rejection, and finally, divorce. Everything falls apart.
Women.
I keep trying to record this video and I keep going way off topic, so I'm going to stick right to the point of what I want to say. This video got posted about a week and a half ago. It was me just getting on, expressing my feelings, and there's been a lot of people who have taken it and kind of turned it into something else. And that's my own fault for not explaining things better or being super clear about things. And I don't owe that to anyone to really go back and try to defend myself on everything that I said. The point of the video was me asking for advice on how to become closer with my husband. There have been amazing people who have given that advice, and I've taken it and we are going with it. And I will continue to share the advice that we've got and what we do. But I want to talk about yesterday. I had a really good day. We went to church. We spent time with family. I was just feeling so at like peace with everything and feeling good. And then as I got into bed, I was going through my phone and just like kind of prepping for today. And I had a couple notifications from people sending me videos that more people have stitched. Just feeling really bad about like being misunderstood and feeling really sad that so many people are taking it the wrong way, I guess. You can think that what I said was wrong or how I felt was wrong, but I know how I felt. And the only thing that gave me peace at that moment was remembering and feeling God's love and knowing that He's the only one at the end of the day who knows my heart and my intentions inside and out. And at the end of the day, He's the only one who gets to judge me. So, you know, yes, all of these things that are going around like may still hurt my feelings, but at the end of the day, they don't matter. And the only people that really matter to me are God, my husband, my family, and my friends. And, you know, at the top of that is obviously just God and my husband. So me and Ryan are good. Like, we are in a good place. We are communicating more. We have taken and gotten lots of advice and are starting to put it into practice. Like, we are good. And me and God are good. So, you know, all of this stuff going around on the internet is a lot to handle as like for anyone. I think only person who really can know you inside and out is God. And at the end of the day, He's the only person that can judge you. And so that's all that matters. And all of these other voices on the internet, they don't matter. At the end of the day, they have no real effect on my life. So people can say the nastiest things in the comments, but my worth is not rooted in that. My worth is rooted in God's love and His perception of me, and He knows my heart inside and out. And that is all that matters. So if you're going through something hard that you may be getting a lot of judgment for, just remember that. Like, you know your intentions, you know your heart, and God knows it. And at the end of the day, He's the only one that can judge you.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
She's already started apologizing. Now she's pulling out the "God knows my heart" and "I was misunderstood" lines. But she only did that after men called her out with the truth. Still, this story, more than a lesson for them, is a brutal reminder for us. Being a good man is no longer enough. If you want to keep attraction alive, you have to hold on to your masculine polarity, be a little selfish, protect your time and your space. A woman rarely leaves the man who respects himself, puts himself first, sets clear boundaries, and knows his worth. She's more likely to leave when all you offer is comfort than when you're the man with backbone, the one who keeps her grounded. That's why you must always remember, it's the emotional roller coaster. They love living on that ride. Your best investment will always be in yourself. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about this woman's story? Why do you think women get bored of men? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.